Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Tonight in Our News, a man murdered on Perrydale Road. Meanwhile, a man's body found under a boat on Pardescue Dock. Plus, the Labour Minister predicts thousands of jobs as hotels reopen. Welcome to Our News and thank you for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, a double shooting on Perrydale Road has left a man dead and a woman in hospital. The man's distraught father described his youngest son as a good cook who didn't bother anyone. Perrydale McDermott has the story.
I will kill my son. Hope you all are just feeling good, man. And God be with you all, you know. God be with you all, boy. Right. If I was you all, turn yourself in. Yeah. Because you all kill an innocent fella, man. That's right. An innocent. You all kill an innocent man today. Yes. Who got started to wake up. And then will spend time with his daddy.
That's the firm and emotional message sent from the father of 24-year-old Christopher Humes Jr., the man gunned down in broad daylight Thursday. According to Police Press Liaison Officer ASP Audley Peters, police got the call shortly before 4 Thursday afternoon.
Officers responded, and on their arrival they met a male lying in the streets with apparent gunshot wounds and a female who sustained injuries consistent with gunshot wounds. The emergency medical services were summoned, and following their assessment, the male was pronounced lifeless and the female was transported to the hospital where her condition is not known.
Peter said after shooting the two, the assailants ran from the scene. Meanwhile, Christopher Humes Sr. said he got the shocking phone call from his daughter who's off island. Humes said his son was a good cook and recently got a job on Rose Island. He shared the last conversation he had with his son.
And he came by me Tuesday, and he's a daddy. He's off Wednesday, I said, but then I worked yesterday. I called him. I say, "Sister, where you at?" He said, "Daddy, I had to work." He said, "But Tuesday, we spent some time together. It's no problem." Now look at him today.
Now, the shattered back glass, along with the markings on the ground, just an indication of how many gunshots was fired here today. Peter said an incident like this is concerning to police.
And it is a concern to us that individuals would be so bold to carry out these acts. But what we ask is the members of the public themselves to be just as bold or even bolder in informing the police of what occurred. In a community like this, someone saw something.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, a teen boy who escaped from the Central Police Station on Tuesday is back in police custody after he was captured last evening. Police would not say how the young man escaped or how he was captured.
Juvenile escaped from Central Station yesterday, and throughout the day the officers, actually not the day before rather, the officers were successful in recapturing him, and he's presently in custody.
Meanwhile, police are investigating the apparent drowning of a man whose body was discovered under a boat on Pardescue Dock today. The body of a man believed to be a vendor pulled from waters at Pardescue Dock. Police believe the man drowned sometime between last night and this morning after his body was discovered under a boat on the western end of the dock.
One of the mates from a boat that was nearby retrieved the body from the waters. Information is receiving is that this person is a local who normally frequents the dock and was last seen yesterday evening.
Police Press Liaison Assistant Superintendent Audley Peters says for now it's being classified as a suspicious death, but there were no visible injuries about the body.
There's no trauma to the body, but we have to await the autopsy's report to confirm the exact cause of death.
As police processed the scene, the man's body lay along some scattered conch shells. Another man who works in the area and goes by the name Uncle Sammy said the victim is a vendor in the area who sells fruits and vegetables.
Say, I believe there's fire under the boat. So I leave from where I was up on the dock, and I came down here, and I saw it was fire.
Peters urging all those who work in the area, especially at night, to avoid being alone.
We ask individuals to take the necessary precautions when dealing with the waters, or if they know of themselves having conditions, to advise individuals who may be close to them to monitor them, because in some instances there are individuals who have heart conditions, and if they go to the waters they can find themselves succumbing to injuries with no one there to assist them.
In other news, Attorney General Carl Bethel shooting down suggestions that the government is abusing its prosecutorial power in a bid to get back at its political rivals.
You know, is this narrative coming out of all of the contributions by members opposite here and in the other place, that somehow the government, the minister's administration, is out to get political opponents and is abusing the prosecutorial authority to persecute political opponents. This, Madam President, is a desperately untrue allegation, as we say on the streets, an allegation from the pit of hell.
Shortly after the Minnis administration took office in 2017, 3 former PLP MPs were arrested and charged. However, Frank Smith and former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson were both cleared of bribery charges in 2019. The bribery case against Kenra Dorset is still pending. Bethel contended there is no witch hunt against the PLP.
I would remind the opposition that when they were last in office, they prosecuted a former FNM senator and an MCM, Meritorious Council member of the FNM. But the FNM never sought to accuse the then government of conducting any witch hunt.
He pointed out that a former FNM minister is facing charges.
The Bahamas now has a constitutionally independent and impartial Director of Public Prosecutions, for whom I hold the highest personal regard and respect. And that Director of Public Prosecutions, free from any political interference, has charged and is preparing to go to trial against a former distinguished FNM cabinet minister.
Labor Minister Dion Folks announced in the Senate today that the reopening of hotels across the Bahamas will create 8,000 jobs in a matter of weeks.
The new expansion at Bahama has created 500 construction jobs and 700 permanent jobs. Nassau Cruise Ports has created 500 construction jobs and hundreds of permanent jobs upon completion. The newly expanded and renovated Sandals Hotel has employed hundreds of Bahamians in its construction stage and will employ 1,000 Bahamians on a permanent basis when they reopen.
Folks added that the completion of construction on a number of other projects will also result in thousands more jobs.
If you add up all of these numbers, and this is not an exclusive list, because there are many projects in Nassau, Grand Bahama, and the other family islands, which is not included in this list. But if you add up these numbers alone, some 8,000 jobs were created recently or will come on stream very shortly.
Not only is the government seeking a stay in the appeals court following a landmark citizenship decision, the Attorney General's office is also seeking to have the case fast-tracked in the Privy Council. Jasmine Brown has more.
While the Attorney General had a lot to say in the Senate, much of what he had to say focused on what's happening here at the Attorney General's office, where he says his team is working hard to have that case heard quickly.
The dog that I have in the hunt, and I say I have a dog in the hunt, is certainty in the law. It is critically important, and so while my friend, somewhat insouciantly, I suppose, may want to say that there's some uncertainty, it is my job to point to the certainty that is in the law.
Bethel revealed the government's plan to apply for a stay in the Court of Appeal. He once again stressed the law has not changed despite the ruling because the government is planning to appeal to the Privy Council. He says the AG's office is looking to have the case expedited in the Privy Council so that the matter can be determined sooner rather than later.
Just be patient, because it won't be long. This is such an urgent matter, and I'm sure that the Privy Council is going to give it. See, it isn't a bunch of there's no factual disputes, purely a question of constitutional construction. And I'm sure that this will be given the kind of priority so vital and important a matter is by the Privy Council that we're talking perhaps no more than several months at the very latest, in my view. And we will be applying for accelerated treatment by the court.
The Court of Appeal upheld a Supreme Court ruling that children born out of wedlock to Bahamian men and foreign women in the Bahamas are entitled to citizenship from birth. On Wednesday morning, Bethel said individuals have been turning up at the Parliamentary Registration Department demanding to be registered to vote. Opposition Senator Fred Mitchell said in the Senate that at this point, Bethel needs to remain mum on the matter.
I tried to advise and admonish the Attorney General to stay out of this matter this morning because there's nothing he can say which will clarify or put an end to the argument in the public domain.
The AG pleaded with the public to be patient as the matter works its way through the courts. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, thanks, Jasmine. Time now for our first check on weather with meteorologist Greg Thompson. Good evening, Greg.
Thanks, Kyle, and welcome everybody for your Thursday first look at weather. Another warm evening outside our studios. Temperatures near the 80-degree mark. 79 outside our studios. Few clouds. We'll call it warm. Your winds are out of the east-southeast. Slight breeze. And your feels-like temperature in the mid to upper 80s. Satellite view around the area. Of course, that frontal boundary stalled to the north of the Bahamas, triggering some showers across the northwest Bahamas. We'll continue to see that action tonight, but the rest of the Bahamas remaining quiet with a slight breeze. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, a leading health expert weighs in on plans to end the state of emergency. Plus, a man sought by police for over a year has his day in court. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
You're watching Our News. Welcome back. The government will have a lot to consider when making a final decision on whether to end the state of emergency in August, according to a leading health expert. Julian Gray has the story.
While restrictions do help to keep case numbers under control, Dr. Nakia Forbes says things like vaccine numbers, how well people are following health guidelines, and the emergence of COVID variants are all variables that could affect policymakers' decision to end the state of emergency in August.
Public health measures and vaccination strategies can keep numbers low in country. And so then we can look at that and how that is going to impact our lives going forward. And I'm sure that would have a play in terms of that those factors would be considered when policymakers decide when these measures would be lifted.
On Tuesday, the Attorney General said the government was looking to end the state of emergency when it expires on August 13th if case numbers don't rise. But are we ready? Dr. Forbes says the virus will be with us for a long time, especially with the introduction of variants.
The Delta variant, what we do know that it is circulating and it is going to be the major circulating strain of the COVID-19 in many countries. That's a projection. It could cause a worsened outbreak. And so it's very, very hard to know if the worst is behind us or what lies ahead.
While the health minister predicts the Bahamas will reach herd immunity in August with a projected 30% of the population vaccinated, most health officials put that number a bit higher at 70%. According to Dr. Forbes, there are barriers that may affect herd immunity.
Vaccine hesitancy, vaccine reluctance, myths, campaigns again that are anti-vax, for lack of a better term. However, it has to be the priority of public health officials, scientists, to do all we can to debunk some of those myths.
Now, as restrictions are becoming more relaxed, Dr. Forbes says people should still follow health and safety guidelines, as well as get vaccinated. Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
A man who prosecutors say was being sought by police since March 2020 was arraigned in the Magistrates Court on drug-related charges today. 41-year-old Antonio Bailu pleaded not guilty to one count of conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with the intent to supply and possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply. The incident occurred between March 6 and March 11, 2020, and allegedly involved 23 pounds of cocaine. The Seven Hills Estates resident was also charged with conspiracy to import dangerous drugs and importation. When Magistrate Samuel McKinney brought up the question of bail, Prosecutor Timothy Bain objected. The matter was adjourned to July 2nd for a bail hearing. Bailu was remanded to prison.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, are more Bahamians seeking to invest? Plus, day one of the Rev Swimming Nationals underway. Stay tuned.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is Our News. Welcome back. More Bahamians are interested in purchasing shares, according to the Chief Technology Officer of a Bahamian stock exchange company. He says the good thing is you don't have to be rich to do it.
We're using technology to lower the costs and lower the barriers to entry so that anyone with as little as $25 can participate.
With the COVID-19 pandemic changing the way we do business, many are looking to new ways to make money. One of them is by investing. DRC Ramming Jr. of Arawak X says the company has seen a jump in demand of people looking to own their own piece of the pie through their crowdfunding platform.
We bring investors and businesses that need funding and that are high growth together over the internet. And we're regulated by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas. We're the first company to be doing this in the Bahamas. And we're really about lowering the barriers to entry for investors and finding new financing for fast, innovative, high-growth companies.
A new player in the industry, Ramming said Arawak X has been helping small and larger businesses raise between $100,000 and $5 million for growth and expansion. Their team, a mixture of experienced and young professionals.
It's very important because in this space, the technology changes so quickly that if you don't have fast and flexible people, you're not going to be able to keep up.
The company currently has a beta site running at arawakx.com. Ramming said as their company expands, placing offices on 4 points of the island, they're looking to help grow Bahamian businesses and give the average Bahamian a chance to become a shareholder or investor.
Well, the end goal for us is we're about moving people from consumers to owners. And so for the end goal for us, we would like to see 70% of Bahamians walking around here with some sort of ownership of some companies in the Bahamas.
The ladies' national tennis team off to a winning start in Panama. Marcellus Hall has more in sports.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome to our sports on a Thursday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Swimming is the big picture this weekend as the Rev Swim Championships taking place, the Rev Swim Nationals taking place over at the Betty Kelly Kenning National Swim Center. You've been seeing coverage here on our TV. Just before we get that, though, we got to give our attention to some tennis news as our ladies' Billie Jean King Cup team is doing extremely well, off to a great start. Let's take a look and see how they're doing in Panama. Well, so far so good for our ladies' national tennis team competing for the Billie Jean Cup. Team Bahamas playing Costa Rica in their first matchup. Sydney Clark getting Team Bahamas going. She took down her opponent Sofia Perez in straight sets, 6-love and 6-2. An excited Clark talked after the match.
I won 6-love, 6-2, and it was a very good match. We played Costa Rica. It's a tough match. My opponent played really well, and I'm just very excited to be back on court and being able to compete.
Meanwhile, player captain Kerry Cartwright also won her match in relatively easy fashion. She took out her opponent in straight sets as well, 6-3 and 6-3. She talked about getting off to a good start as the Bahamas takes the match 2-1.
The girls came out fired today, so did I. I'm very happy with how the outcome came for all of us. It was a great day overall, and I'm so proud of all the girls and myself.
Meanwhile, competition also getting underway this morning, as we told you, in the Rev Swimming Nationals at the Betty Kelly Kenning Swim Complex. Preliminary rounds taking place in the morning session. Final set for tonight. RTV will give you coverage of all the sessions over the next few days. Championships wrap up on Sunday, just in case you were wondering. And there it is, your check on sports for you here on this Thursday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Kyle.
A U.S. pageant making waves in the Bahamas. That's coming up when Our News returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
As we wind down, Greg is back in studio with our extended weather forecast.
Thanks again, Kyle, and welcome everybody back for your second look at weather. Across the region, we have that frontal boundary that's stalled to the north of the Bahamas, across the north and central portions of Florida, triggering some showers and some thunderstorms across the northern Bahamas. Some of those showers and thunderstorms will be heavy and strong at times, so residents in the northwest Bahamas, we're asking you to continue to monitor those showers and thunderstorms. The tropics remaining quiet. We have one tropical wave that's moving across the Windward Islands. National Hurricane Center dropping that to about a 10% chance, running into some very strong upper level winds. And of course, we have a very strong one coming off of Africa right now. The National Hurricane Center bumped that up to 40%. So this is one we will continue to monitor over the next couple of days. Boating forecast for the northwest Bahamas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. While in the central and southeastern islands, we have an east to southeasterly flow continuing at 15 to 20 knots, seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. Your high tide will be at 7:35 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Kyle.
100 girls from the Women and Girls Coalition were treated to a day of pampering and empowerment by the Miss Black Ambassador pageant. Coordinator Patrice Harrison says she hopes the girls are inspired by the stories of the female entrepreneurs and pageant contestants from the U.S.
Originally, when this project was supposed to happen, it was last year when COVID hit. My 9-year-old daughter, who's an actress, was like, we got to do something for these girls hit by Hurricane Dorian. And so that's where the passion for this event came from. And so to be able to see it to go to fruition and her to be able to talk to young women and the amazing honorees that we have and then celebrities coming to talk, I just hope these girls feel empowered and loved on and that they can do anything they put their minds to.
Panel sessions on confidence, business, and self-love preceded a luncheon for the girls. Members of the coalition expressed their thanks.
There are a lot of beautiful ladies here, and they seem to be very confident in themselves. And I feel like I could use a bit more confidence. I'm sometimes shy, and it's just nice to see them being so confident, doing their thing.
What I'm looking to get from here, maybe more information, how to take care of myself, and maybe I could help other girls who want to do that, be in a pageant.
Well, thank you for joining us for Our News Tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Stay tuned for continued coverage of the National Swim Championships right here on Our TV.